Hello my crafty friends, it's Christy over at Crafty Christy's Creations, and today I have another print and cut project for you. Just in time for Halloween, we are going to make these adorable treat bag toppers. So stay tuned for all the fun. Alrighty, here we are in Silhouette Studio. And you can see I already have some graphics pulled out over here. This is my Halloween clip art bundle, and I will leave a link for you to pick that up for free. And then to make our trick-or-treat bag toppers, we're going to start by making a rectangle. I'm doing this for just a sandwich bag to make it easy. This is the size of your sandwich bag, so it's 6.5 inches long and 3.25 inches tall. Do you find this helpful? Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Silhouette Studio tutorials. Now let's jump back in where we left off. So I'm going to make the topper, and it's giving a fill color. None. Actually, let's do this. Fill pattern, none. There we go. So I'm going to make my rectangle here. I'm going to do 6.5 inches long, and then we're going to do a height of 3 inches. This is going to go over the front and the back. So we're going to use our line tool and draw a line. And if you hold down the shift key, that will make it a straight line. I'm going to select both of these things, and then I can do center. And that will center them up and down and left and right all at the same time. So that is the area that we're going to work with. And I'm just going to go ahead and group that together for right now, just so things don't move around. And we're going to work on this bottom part here, and this is going to be the front of our design. Actually, before we do that, let's ungroup. And I'm going to fill this with a fill pattern. So I'm going to go over to the fill panel and then come over to fill pattern. And I've already uploaded a Halloween twill pattern. I will also link to where you can grab this one for free. I've created this pattern. And then I'll also link a video to show you how to add patterns into Silhouette Studio. But I went ahead and filled that pattern in, and then I can scale it. And then you can also pan. So if you click and drag, you can decide where on that pattern that you want. I like that right there. And it's still, this red line is still our line to show what we're doing, but I'm going to change that line to a color that's not on our screen anywhere, just to make this a little bit easier. I'm going to use a blue. And then I want this, I still want it to have an outline, so that looks good. Now I can go ahead and group these together. Okay. And I'm going to add some bats on the side here. They're not showing up, they're sent to the back, so I'm going to bring these to the front. So I'm actually going to take this and send to the back, so everything should go on top of it now. And I'm going to shrink this down. And I want that to fit right here. And then I think I'll put my ghost. I'm going to ungroup my ghost. Oop. And we'll get rid of that layer. And I'm going to make him white. I made them gray. I'm going to group that back together. I made them gray so that way when you pull them on the screen, you can still see them. So now that it's going to be on a colored pattern, you'll still be able to see it. And I'm going to put it there. And then I'm going to come over to the flexi shapes, and I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to make a little shape here. And we're going to change that to no fill pattern. Not sure why they keep filling. But you can see how I've got these two little dots here. So now I need to right click and convert to path. So now it's a complete path. And then I'm going to click on that again, and I'm going to fill it with white so that we can see it. I think the size is good, and I'm actually going to turn down the transparency. Oh, looks like maybe it didn't convert. There we go. I like to turn down the transparency on that just so you can kind of see the background through. That is a personal preference. And then I'm just going to maybe scoot that right there. I want this border from my score line and then from the edge here to be roughly the same. So that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take this Happy Halloween. Oh, we need to bring that to the front. And I'm going to scale that to fit right here. So I'm going to hold down Shift and the Alt key. And that's going to scale from the center. And then I can grab, with that still selected, holding down Shift, I'm going to grab this box and I'm going to center those. And for my box, I'm going to get rid of my line color. And these bats, let's see what they look like in white. Nah. They don't show up very well. Maybe let's try this spooky pumpkin. See what that looks like. That looks a little better. It's hard, that background is so busy. I think this little, let's shrink this cat down. So again, holding Shift and Alt. And I need to make it a little bit smaller to fit. Let's do this. To fit inside, this is my score line here. So I had to shrink that down to fit within. And then if we zoom out a little bit here, I think I like the way that looks. I'm going to leave it just like that. So now let's go ahead and get everything else ready. So I'm going to turn on, I like to use my print border and my cut border. We're going to turn on our registration marks. I like to make mine smaller. My bottom one I have to bring up a little bit, and then all the other insets I like to go as small as I can. And then I'm also going to use my print bleed so that when it cuts, in case it doesn't cut quite in the right place, it'll give me a little bit of extra wiggle room. And I did 0.1 inch of the print bleed. And I'm going to leave it like that. And now I'm going to grab my entire design here. And I'm going to group it. And then we can zoom out a little bit more here. And I'm just going to make a couple of copies of this. So I'm just going to hold down the Control key and go down, down. I think that's good. 3 copies. And I just like to put a little space between them, especially because we did that print bleed. We want to make sure there's room for it to print that print bleed without ruining our designs. So now this is ready. So you're going to go ahead and print it like normal. And you want to check, make sure on your print preview that your registration marks are within your print border. And it looks like mine are, so that's good. You can see it looks a little weird here, and that's because of that print bleed. You can see these two are running pretty close together. So I'm going to take this middle one and I'm going to scoot it down just a smidge. So I'm going to cancel. Let's try that. And then we'll go back to the print preview. Now I've got a little bit of space between each of those, and everything is still within my registration marks. So I can go ahead and print this. And then when we go to cut it out, you want to cut by line color. So the reason I got rid of that line color around this white piece is because now what I'm going to do, that red cut line, the box all the way around is what we want to cut. So I've changed that action to cut. And that blue line, which is our score line, so I've changed that action to score. So now we're going to make 3 copies of this, and it's going to cut the outside and score our line down the middle so we can add these to our treat bags. So I'm going to get these printed up and I'll show you what it looks like. So it just checked all of the registration marks, and now it's doing the cut lines. And you can see where it's cutting. It's kind of hard to tell where the cut lines are. But when you look at it, it's definitely that extra squiggly part is going to be our print bleed. So it's going to cut outside of that area. Okay, it is done cutting. You can see where those cut lines are right there, right on that edge of the print bleed. And then now I went ahead, I've had issues in the past, so I go ahead and just do all the cut. I make sure that cut through, and now I'm only gonna score. So I've got that set up, and now I'm gonna hit send, and it's going to score. So again, it's gonna read those registration marks to make sure it's gonna do everything in the correct place. I did not unload my mat or do anything different. And now it's gonna set the blade, and now it's gonna do the score lines. All right, I've got all of mine cut out. We're just gonna fold on the score line. And then all you have to do is staple them on the bags. So I just wanted to show you, this is a Ziploc sandwich size bag. You can see there's quite a bit of goodies that you can fit in there. And then that one looks like that. And then this is the snack size. I didn't quite get it on there straight. I could certainly pull that staple out and try again. But that's what that one would look like. You don't put as many goodies, and that may or may not be what you want to do. You know, buy your candy in bulk or get a bag of Cheetos and throw some in each bag, you know, however you want to do it. So I put some candy in here. You want to really make sure you get all the air out. So I'm just going to kind of fold that over, try to get all the air out. And then I'm going to take my little bag topper and I'm going to slide the top of the Ziploc all the way in, and I want to try to get that lined up on the edges. And then I'm just going to fold my top down over top of it the best you can. Try to get it all the way up into those edges. And then I'm just going to come in with my stapler. Sometimes it's easier to just do one side and then do the other. I'm just going to come in with my stapler. I like to put the staple kind of down at the bottom and hide it in that pattern a little bit. I'll try to get that straight across, nice and flat. And throw the staple on there. And there is your Halloween treat bag. Easily can be done for any holiday season. You want to do them for Christmas, Valentine's Day, Halloween, anytime you, or even birthday party favors, anytime you want to make some little treat bags, this is a great way to personalize them for your event.